Hello and welcome to my video. Well, my first video. I've never made a video before, so I do apologise if the production's awful, the video itself's awful, or I'm just awful. I don't intend to be making any more videos if I can help it, so I do apologise. Now, I'm just making this video to have a little rant and to give a little bit of information to people about the thing I'm going to rant about, which, as you can see, is Vinted. If you don't know what Vinted is an online marketplace that sells used items. I think it first was designed to sell used clothes and things like that. It has obviously grown and it sells other things. As you can see, it sells Game Boy games, and other games. Now, my rant pertains to one of the purchases I've made. As you can see, I've been looking at Game Boy games, and I purchased some. I purchased a couple of Game Boy games, and I was a bit naive. I somehow missed something that is so obvious, and I should never have bought it. Now I've bought games a lot in the past. Now I don't collect games. I just buy games that I like, and that I want to play on my Game Boys. Um, because generally they're pretty cheap. As you can see, the prices here, if I scroll down a bit, they're fairly cheap for games, if they are real. If they are real, and that's my big thing. So I bought a couple of games recently, and I'll bring them up. So I bought this, and those of you that know are going to be able to spot the problem straight away. And I should have spotted the problem straight away, uh, but I didn't. Okay, I'm kicking myself because I didn't. Now I bought these two games, Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion. When I bought them, I used my mobile phone, like everyone else. My mobile phone is what I use all the time, so the kind of layout is different. Now, if you've ever used Vinted, you'll see you get like this photo come up for the listing, and then you get like this bit here, and then you look at the description. Like for in this case, it just says the title of it and the descriptions tested and in perfect working order. Great, perfect. I saw this photo. Um, for some reason, I didn't know there were other photos. Now I use Vinted a fair bit, so I know there's three dots usually at the bottom to say there's more photos. Uh, I don't know what happened. I'm not saying the seller somehow managed to upload additional photos after I bought it, because I don't even think you can do that. But I didn't see it. And I only saw this photo. Maybe my phone was playing up, or I don't know. I only saw this photo. Now, these two games individually, 80 quid each. Okay, they're quite expensive games. Zero Mission was the first ever Metroid game I ever played, so I was like, 20 quid for two of them. I'll have that. That might be someone that has literally doesn't know what they've got. They've just put it on there. It had been listed an hour previously, and I was like, oh great, I'll snap them up if they're cheap. Now, when I've looked in the past, because I have bought games in the past and I know there are fake ones, there are a few things I look for when I look. And mostly it's looking at all the photos, which somehow, again, didn't happen in this case. And I cannot explain it. It it baffles me as to how I didn't see any other photos. I don't know how it happened. It happened. Um, but generally, I look at the photos. Now, on a genuine game, you usually get on the label, you'll get, I don't know if you can just make it out here. You can just see there is imprinted, so someone has stamped a number. So there's a stamped number in there, and on genuine games, you get the stamped number and a letter or whatever else. But it's like a code, it's a manufacturing code. Um, doesn't affect game, doesn't do anything else. But you know it's real, or you can have a good idea it's real because it has that stamped number. I've never seen a fake one without it. Generally, fake games, especially Game Boy games, will have the American rating system on there. So it'll have like a big E in black or a big T or whatever else, because they were easier to fake in the past. Obviously, when Game Boys were out and it was a bigger thing. Um, Now, I saw this photo and I saw that it had the print there. I didn't see that there was any other photos, so I couldn't look at anything else. I looked at this one, and I couldn't see the imprint on this label, but because you have to get the lighting perfect to see that number, generally when you're looking at listings, you can't see that number. You can't see that code. You can maybe just make it out, but you can't see it, and you use other things to kind of tell you whether it's real or fake or not. Um, and generally, normally I would have asked if I couldn't see it on either of them and I thought they were real, I would have asked the seller, can you take a picture of the label so I can see it? But I was kind of thinking they're 20 quid. Someone is going to snap these up. They're two £80 games. Um, so I spent about 15, 20 minutes like looking at the photos like I normally do, zooming in, checking it out, trying to find the code on this one, and then comparing the like embossed lettering at the top or logo. Now I believe this one to be real because it had the embossed number. It's a like a European label, so I know you get the fake European labels now, but generally most aren't. Um, and I've never seen one with an embossed number in it. So I was certain that this game was real. And this one wasn't. And without another one, a real one to compare it against, okay, I could have brought up another photo, but you're on your phone. It's hard to compare two photos side by side. So I looked at it. The lettering and the logos were exactly the same on both cartridges. So I was like, this one's got to be real. And I kind of had that FOMO of someone else going to snap this up. Um, it's a good opportunity for me to get these two games. I've always wanted to have Zero Mission again. Um, but because it's 80 quid, I don't want to pay 80 quid for it. So I haven't picked it up. So when I saw this, I thought it was a great deal. So I snapped it up. I didn't even make an offer. So Vinted, you can make offers or you can just buy it at what it is and then you pay the postage and the selling fees. And the seller just gets the 20 quid for it. So that's what I did. Paid that, paid the whatever else. And it was coming. And then I had it in the back of my mind. I was still in and ahhing whether it was real or fake. Not so much this one here. And I spent like while I was waiting for them to send it, I kept going back to it. So I spent a fair amount of time looking at this photo. And again, still didn't see that there were other photos on this listing, which I don't know. I cannot explain why I did not see that there were other photos on here, but I didn't. Um, so I kept looking at it and I was certain that this one was real. I was a bit and ahhing on this one. Um, but I was kind of like, well, the logo's the same and I know this one's real. It all looks okay. So it'll be good. And then I thought, well, if this one turns out to be fake, this one's real and I've paid 20 quid, so I'm happy. Whatever. I'd be happy. I don't know why this one would be fake when this one was real, but whatever. And I always thought, well, if they turn out to be fake, Vinted, you know, they have a process where when you receive your item, you've got a few days to decide whether it's exactly how it should be, if it works as intended or what else, and then you can say, no, it's not good. I don't want it. Or this is the reason why this counterfeit, this is the problem, and then you can try and work it out with the seller. Now, so on this case, these turned up and I opened them because I tinker with things. I've soldered lots of Game Boys and Game Gears, things like that. I repaired them, so I have all the tools and the screwdrivers to do the safety bits. And whenever I do buy a Game Boy game, I do double check by opening it up. Just have a look because there's a little screw, and I'll show you in a moment. There's a little screw on the back, like that, little security bit. Open it up, game comes, you see the cartridge inside, and then you can tell from the cartridge. This is where the problem is. And I'll show you another picture in a minute, but this is the games. So this is the off of the listing. So the seller sold it exactly as it is. Um, Obviously, he hasn't said it's a reproduction or a fake. So the description for anyone else that's not me, you might think it's a real copy. If I'd have seen this photo, I'd have known straight away that it's fake. And the reason it's fake is because of these round blobs. Real cartridges don't have these round blobs. And this whole circuit board doesn't really have anything on it. Um, so it's definitely fake. So I've opened it up. I've done it. Um, I'll show you a couple of the pictures that I've got. So this is a comparison. So this one on the right is real. This one on the left is fake. And as you can see on the right one, you can't make out the embossed number or the lettering. I can just about see it there because I know what I'm looking for, but you definitely won't be able to see it on here. And that's why you have to kind of go with other things. So this is a photo um, that I found of a real copy. And as you can see, Metroid Fusion itself should have a save battery. It has chips, not blobs. So this has one chip and two blobs. And you can see all the other things, all the other components, the writing, everything else on there. There's nothing on here. So I've reported this to Vinted as being counterfeit. And the seller has immediately come back and said initiated a return, which I've gone great, that's fine, let's return it. Don't want them. So I've clicked yes, return. When I've clicked it, it said I need to pay £3 to return it. I need to pay for postage. I was like, I'm not paying for postage. It's a fake game. And again, at this point, I hadn't seen the second set of images. So I was like, I ain't paying for that. And then the seller come back, told me I was trying to scam him. They're real. I was like, they 100% are not real. I know what's real. These are not real. Um, so I escalated it to Vinted itself. Vinted asked for photos, and these are the photos that I sent. So I obviously sent these photos as a comparison, real versus the fake one. I'll show you the other ones that I sent. So this is the other cartridge. Again, this board is exactly the same on this one as it is on this one. Oh, as you can see, which they shouldn't really be. Whereas this board is different to this board. And even the codes down here are different. So that's got E1110 and this one's got E6, E0610. Whereas both fake ones have E0501 and these blobs. These don't. You can see the embossed number or code on this one really clearly. So I sent this photo again thinking, well, you can quite clearly see the boards are not the same. This is a real board. This is not a real board. And then on the back, I've sent this, and as you can see, when you do a side-by-side comparison, you can quite clearly see that the fonts are not the same. The lettering and the mold is not the same. This logo is squashed compared to this one. And then around the screw is not quite the same, and there's a small gap around here, and there's a massive gap around the screw here. So it's blatantly obvious that these are not the same. This one being real, this one being fake. You go to the last one, and then this is the logo from the top of the cartridge. And this is what I used to verify it before because I thought one was real because I didn't have something to compare it against. But when you look, this one is flush with the rest of it around the outside. It's very uniform around there, and the lettering isn't as bubbly as it is here. This is almost like bubble text. But you can see around the O, there's no gap on the real one. It joins up, the B and the Y joins up to it, whereas this one does. The M and the E here are joined on the real one, but not on the fake one. You've got the little cut out above the A, and you can't quite see it, but there is one above the M, whereas it's not on this one at all. So you can quite clearly see that these are two different products. This is not real, this is real. So I sent it to Vinted. They've come back and said we can't. The seller hasn't been able to provide information of authenticity. However, this can happen sometimes when they don't have a receipt. And it's like, well, they can't provide authenticity because they're fake. So they said we're offering a refund. You need to, as per our policies, you need to pay for shipping unless the seller agrees to pay for it. Which I can kind of understand that policy because someone's got to pay for shipping and they've got my money, whereas they can't go and take money from the seller because it's not like they can reach into their bank account and just take it. Whereas they've already got my money, so they've got money somewhere to pay for it, and it kind of stops people not paying and then being out of pocket. which is fine, except when you're buying fake items, you shouldn't really have to pay, and that's my whole big thing. But they've come back and they've said, no, it's final. Our final decision. These are real cartridges. They actually came back and said they are genuine cartridges, um, and you need to return it to the seller. You've got a certain amount of time to return it. If you don't, the seller will get their money, and that'll be it, and it's closed, and that's it. That's their final decision. Now I've escalated it a little bit further. I've sent an email to it was it's a bit weird, but I asked them. It took ages for them to actually reply and give it to me, but I've got another email address um, which I sent to them. I sent a letter to outlining all these photos, all the issues, um, and then I even listed a couple of things, a couple of other items on there to show, look, you've got fake items on there, and some that have even got in their description that they're reproductions. They're not real. Like you prohibit it, so how can you have them on there? I'm waiting for them to come back to me. They've not come back to me, but I've literally got to send the item tomorrow. Otherwise, I've lost 23 quid as opposed to 3 quid. Uh, Now, Vinted have this thing where you can report listings, which I kind of thought, you know what? Let's go have a little look. I don't want to get people in trouble. I don't care if people are selling fake stuff. It's not my money. I just don't want it. I just want to be able to be protected against it if I do. Um, and I noticed that the three items that I had given as an example all had sold by them. Now, bearing in mind these items had been, some of them had been on there for a few months. Um, so the fact that all three of them had suddenly been sold was a bit suspicious, and a little bit of Dr. Google told me that yes, when Vinted removed them, they're shown as sold until the seller removes the listing. Um, so Vinted have obviously removed them after my letter, so they've got my letter or my email. Uh, Hopefully they're going to do something about it, but they removed those listings. However, when I went on Vinted this morning, and we can see if I go back to the first Vinted page. Now, I this was one of the ones I listed as being fake. Now I listed it as I listed it to them. I didn't report it. I just listed the actual whole address to Vinted. And the reason I listed it is one because it is fake, and two because it says on here it's a reproduction, and I wanted it as listed. So this was listed as sold, and it was taken off. However, the seller has obviously gone, whatever, re-uploaded it. Look, uploaded an hour ago. This was re-uploaded, and this is the problem with Vinted. They're not punishing pirates. They're not punishing people that are selling fake items. This person knows it's fake, but they're still selling it. They're still trying to scam you out of what not the best part of a tenner for a game that is fake. Yes, it will work, but it's not real. And you can pick this game up for a tenner. So a real version of it. So this person is getting what you would get for a real game, and that's just ridiculous. And Vinted are just allowing it to happen. Yes, they removed it from here, but they told me that the game that I had bought, the games that I'd bought that I had proven to be fake, they told me they are real. Now there was another one, a Pokemon one, which is easier to verify that it's fake. Um, and the reason I made this video is because I saw that one. This one came up during the kind of making of the video. But the other item, I can't find it at the moment. I'm not going to scroll through. Um, that was again removed and then re-uploaded, and then I thought, no, I'm not having that. Like Vinted, you need to do better. You're scamming people. So I reported it again, and then I got a message back telling me that it's a genuine copy and they're not going to be taking action because it doesn't go against their guidelines. And I just thought, you're not learning. You're allowing fake games to be on here. Now, Nintendo, they're never going to watch this video and they're never going to see this. And they probably wouldn't care even if they did see it because they got bigger things to worry about. But if Nintendo knew that fake cartridges, and especially like Pokemon and Mario, who are their licenses, their products are being sold, fake copies are being sold. I Vinted you if Nintendo wanted to, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on. If I or anyone else ever took you to court for selling fake items because we've received it. Now I will there are some hills I will die on, and I really wanted to die on this one, but I'm 3 quid. I'm not gonna not gonna go to war over 3 quid. I'd rather just do this. Um, I will like send the item back to the seller under duress if they do not come back to me. But that seller will just re-upload it. I'm worried that they're going to try some other scam. They scammed me once. They're probably just going to say that I never sent the item. Like the way Vinted works, the Vinted are going to know they've received it, but because they have to confirm when I receive an item, when I receive the game, there's a before the seller gets their money, I have to click that I've received it, everything is good, and I'm happy with the purchase. You click that, the seller gets their money. If I don't click that, I've got a certain amount of days. I think it's like 3 days to check it and make sure it's all right. If I don't do that, automatically the seller gets his money. But the seller is going to do the same thing when they get this back. So I've seen a number of videos where people have sent items back and the seller has just gone, the game wasn't in the box. You sent a box, but there's no game. And then Vinted are just going to go, right, well, you have your 20 quid, you get nothing. So I would have lost my 20 quid plus whatever in postage. They're going to have these games to resell and blag and scam someone else, and they're going to have my money. And there's going to be nothing I can do about it because this is the problem with Vinted. It seems that their agents are not trained well enough. They don't care. I submitted the evidence I submitted should show that these games were fake. I even told them there are websites that you can go to and you can verify what I'm saying to you is true, and spot it yourself. They didn't bother doing that. They couldn't be bothered to do that. They didn't investigate properly. They just decided, no, the sellers, no, they're real. The seller, thank you, you can carry on selling. And it's the same with these. The Pokemon game that I'd listed was removed, re-uploaded. The person then changed the description to say it's got a Nintendo logo, it's real, but it's a fake game. And when I said it to them, it's fake. They've come back and said, no, we think it's real. So we're not going to do anything about it. So there's no point in me reporting this one again. Not that I reported it before, but there's no point in me reporting this one because it's not going to do anything. They just don't care. They just want to take money, and they don't care about their customers. And that kind of makes me think, well, why would I want to pay for expensive clothing? 20 quid's nothing really. It is to some people, it's a lot of money. Um, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. If I'd lost it, I'd be annoyed, but it's not going to be that much. I was just taking it as a scam and I wouldn't use Vinted again. Um, but there are some people out there where that 20 quid means a lot, especially when they think they're getting games, and or they're thinking they're getting games that are real, and then when they go to sell them in the future, they think they've got a real game. Now, this guy here definitely knows it's fake. The one with the Pokemon game, I suspect knows it's fake because why would you relist it? Vinted have taken it down because it's counterfeit, and then you've relisted it and gone, no, no, it's definitely real. Like, no, it's fake. It doesn't seem Vinted are doing anything. So, like I said, my email to Vinted has been seen because they've seen those listings and they removed them, which I imagine is because they agree with what I've said and my photos. Um, but I know that Vinted will not come back to me before tomorrow, which is the deadline that I've got to send these games back. Um, and I'm going to lose out. And once I've paid that money, I'm never going to get that back. Never going to get it back. They could say, "Oh, you were right. We are really, really sorry. It's happened. You are right. But you've sent the games back. You've sent them back to them. So there's nothing we can do now. Like, there's absolutely nothing we can do. Whereas if they come back to me and then go, yeah, we agree they're fake. We've cancelled it. We've banned the seller. We've done whatever. Then it's fine. Um, but they're never going to do that. So my like advice to anyone that goes on Vinted is be extra vigilant, check everything. And I know somehow I missed it, but it's one of those things. Like I bought in good faith based off of the photo I saw. If I'd have known there was another photo, if I'd have seen the other photo, I would never have bought it. Um, and I'm someone that's bought games loads in the past, know what I'm looking for, and I've fallen foul of it. So it can happen to anyone, and Vinted just don't care. They do not care whatsoever. Um, Either they don't care or their staff are just not trained to look for counterfeits. In which case, this has just become Vinted. Basically, should just be called the physical Pirate Bay, um, because there are loads of fake items. Now, this seller, especially this seller, I'm going to blank out any things, but look, I've liked all of them because I had originally included all of them in my email, but I thought no, I'll cut it down. But this seller has all of these games that are counterfeit. Every single one of them is counterfeit, and they do not care. This one was taken down because it was the only one in my listing. They've just re-uploaded it. They don't care, and Vinted don't care either. They're allowing it, um, and it's us, the people that are giving them our hard-earned money, that's kind of falling foul of it, and we're the ones that are left out of pocket when there is a scam. Because Vinted, the way Vinted do their returns and things like that, are not, they do not favour the buyer. And I get it. There are reasons why they do their thing that way, and I can understand it because if I want to return something just because I don't like it, why should the seller have to pay the shipping? I get that, but this is a fake item. Why am I paying because it's fake? Um, the seller should pay if it's fake, not me. But it is Vintage policy. No one's ever going to do anything. I've seen loads of videos where people have had the same issue. Um, let's see how we go from here. If I get any updates, I will let everyone know. I'll make another video. If people like this or they want to know more about how to spot fake games, especially Nintendo games, the earlier ones up to like the Nintendo DS and things like that, I can maybe make another video. Um, you know, if you like it, comment about it. Please don't write nasty comments. Like I said, it's my first video, and I don't care about the comments. I just want people to know that Vinted is awful, um, and you are on your own if it is fake. So if you have any doubt that something is authentic or not, do not buy it, especially on Vinted, because you are not covered. They say you are, but you are not, and they will have you pulling your hair out, and you will pay for the the seller to return. You will pay postage to return items. And I've seen other videos where people have received damaged items, and the seller decides who pays. And Vinted won't change that. They will not overrule that. And that's what they said in my thing. They will not overrule who pays. Um, and that's it. So either way, you're going to get scammed, or you know taken advantage of on Vinted, or should we say the physical Pirate Bay. Um, like I said, if you like this video, let me know. If you want any more, I might make something else. But hopefully people have learned something. Hopefully it's given some people some information. It's not anything where um, it's helping you out. If you're already in this situation, then I'm sorry, you're stuffed like me. But if it stops you buying something and then getting into this situation, then I've kind of done my job with this video. But thank you for watching. If you've watched it, I know it's a long video. I'll try and edit it out if I can figure that out. But thank you.